Warning, the following contains graphic imagery. Viewer discretion is advised.
Who would know about this? Hey, sorry to bother you, man, but my phone stopped working. I was just wondering if you knew where the nearest hardware... Man? Oh, hi, Sheena. What's up? Yeah, I was just wondering if you knew where the nearest hardware store was. Oh, yeah, hardware store. They just opened up a new one at the shopping center. It's right next to the ramen shop we went to the other night. Oh, I know where that is. Thanks. Okay, yeah, man, just get your head back into the game and maybe do a new review or something. Hello, my friends, and welcome to the land of the rising manga that is the Eizenzo. So, recently, the anime adaptation of Higurashi no Nakoroni celebrated its 10th anniversary, and deservingly so, as it is one of my favorite anime of all time.
Based on a series of independently produced sound novels, Higurashi proves that even with a minuscule budget and almost no resources, great franchises can be created. Kind of wish Inafune had learned from this series. To me, this series is about a group of friends trying to solve the mysteries in their small rural town, blend together a near-perfect combination of comedy, intrigue, and drama. The characters are well written, the story is incredibly gripping, and it has some of the best sound design I've ever heard in an anime. Never have the cries of the cicadas sounded so damn ominous.
So naturally, after salvaging the license from the remains of Genyon, you'd think that Sentai Filmworks should give it the best damn release they could.
Nope.
Yeah, apparently in their infinite wisdom, Sentai Filmworks decided not to give a proper English dub to this series. Oh sure, they include Genyon dub for the first season, but who wants to listen to that crap?
You made some other card look just like the two of diamonds? Wow, that was pretty clever for a guy like you. Way to go. Way to really stick it to him this time. I can't believe it, Keiichi. You did it. You got her. Nice job.
Oh well, I'm sure they just chose to instead dub an anime of at least equal quality. I hate life sometimes.
Seriously, between this and Shirobako, I do not understand where Sentai's priorities lie. Oh well, if they don't want my money, I'll just spend it on manga instead.
Don't get me wrong, I'll still buy the Blu-rays eventually, dub or no dub, but I'll also be the first to admit that the anime is not the best adaptation of the original material. Putting aside Studio Dean's inability at producing a show with above average animation quality, the anime misses out on some crucial plot points from the original sound novels to help to explain character motivations and build on the atmosphere. It doesn't kill the anime for me, as I still think it's great. No, Dean saved screwing the pooch for the Yubi Neko anime, but that's a subject for another day. What we're here to talk about is what may arguably be the superior adaptation of the original sound novels, despite lacking any real sound.
But yeah, for the first time I'm actually going to be reviewing a localized manga, one that was handled by Yen Press, a company who's pretty much licensed all of the series I think should be licensed, with the exception of Big Order. Seriously, why would you license that series? Did you see the reception to the anime?
There are a few side story manga that haven't been adapted yet that I could talk about whether or not they're worth the import. But before we get to those, I think we should still cover all of the main story arcs. The original sound novels were separated into 8 games, with each of them covering their own unique story arcs, so we've got a lot to cover.
So let's get right into it with When They Cry, Abducted by Demons, Volume 1, and welcome my friends to the Higurashi Retrospective.
The cover of this book, as well as all the others, feature major characters opposed against rather generic backgrounds. They're just black or white with blood splotches. As a result, I really can't call any of these covers all that good. Still, at least we get some cute girls out of it. In this first volume's case, it's the main poster girl of the whole damn series, Rena Ryugu. Deservingly so, as on top of being the heroine with the most overall screen time in these early chapters, she's also one of the most quotable characters in the entire series. More on that later. Also, I've always loved the design of her signature dress. Simple yet really cute, especially with the huge purple ribbon and that hat that brings it all together. Still, this cover seems to cut off something that Rena is hiding behind her back. I wonder what it could be. It looks shiny, and the top half of it has an interesting shade of green to it. Maybe it's a giant tube of a certain toothpaste, or, I know, super glue.
ずいぶんでかいな。
Yeah, that's gotta be it. I mean, what else could it be? We open up with a quote from Frederica Birkenstell. please don't be sad. Even if the world doesn't forgive you, I will forgive you. Wow, that came off as a kind of touching and pretty important sounding line. In fact, it was so important that she felt like she had to say it twice. Gee, with such creative writing, this Birkenstock lady must be one hell of a philosopher. Maybe I should go look her up.
Actually, don't do that, as Google searches right now will only lead you to spoilers for this and Umineko.
Yeah, Frederica Birkenstock was a character created in the series, and this isn't going to be the last time we're going to read quotes from her. Still, I have no idea why they frame it as though it's a quote from frickin' Aristotle or something. I'm just imagining a lot of guys who bought the original sound novels back in 2002 trying their damnedest to Google her name, only to end up looking up TripAdvisors to Birkenstock Quest, a town in Germany. Must have really helped their tourism at least. Our story actually opens up with our protagonist, Keiichi Maibara, moving into the small rural town of Hinamizawa. The year is 1983, the Famicom has just been released, and Japan is just 3 years away from entering into its bubble economy. Still, despite the country being on the crux of some major economic and cultural shifting, Keiichi and his family have decided to move back into what could very well be a textbook example of the boonies. I mean, come on, until that mails some little bubble burst, you may as well enjoy the limelight while you still can.
I mean, what could a back alley to a little village like this offer that you can't find in the city? Oh, cute anime girls in sailor uniforms. You win this round, Manga.
Meet Rena Ryugu, Keiichi's classmate, and a girl with some weird speech patterns, often repeating her words and referring to herself in the third person.
Jimmy's ready. Jimmy's got some new moves. Go, Jimmy. Check Jimmy out. Jimmy's down!
On their way to school, the two run into Mion Sonozaki,
遅いよ、二人とも。
a tomboy who,
I'd say puberty was inordinately kind to you.
hell, she even offers herself to be touched up by Keiichi.
Well, how nice of her to get that old cliche out of the way. I kid though, while Higurashi does have harem anime-esque elements to it, it ultimately doesn't quite fall into that genre because, well, that's not the main theme of the series.
We'll discuss this more as the series progresses, but rest assured that these first few pages that feel like they were ripped right out of a dating sim don't reflect the main focus of the series. After arriving at school, we're introduced to one of the more divisive characters in the series, Sadako Hojo.
私何のことかわかりませんもの。
She seems to enjoy pranking Keiichi, and this morning in particular, she set up a nice little greeting that includes taping tacks onto the door handle.
Okay, Sadako, you know there's a difference between childish pranks and ECW, right?
Anyway, after slightly falling into her little trap, Keiichi is comforted by his adorable classmate, Rika Furude.
ケイイチの痛いの痛いの飛んでいけです。
Seeing this plus Sadako crying after Keiichi scolded her triggered a little reaction from Rena.
二人ともかわいいかわいいね。お持ち帰り。
Yeah, another quirk about Rena is her insatiable attraction to cute things, or rather, adorable things as she calls it. I'm half tempted to use the DBZ abridged clip, though I think I've overused it at this point. Oh, and in case you're wondering why 3 clearly teenage students are in a classroom made up of smaller kids, it's because there's only one actual classroom at this tiny ass school, thus high schoolers have to share classes with elementary grade students. I really want to question how anyone thinks a classroom where the teacher has to try and cover multiple grades worth of lessons could effectively educate the students. But then again, I think they still have a better mission statement than Hope Peak Academy, so there's that. Later that day, Rena invites Keiichi to tour the town. The last spot they end up visiting was her personal favorite, a garbage dump.
Wire hangers? Expired medicine? Old newspapers?
Yeah, apparently Rena's perception of adorable items extends to pure garbage as well.
Well, if that's the case, I wonder if she also finds Teen Titans Go adorable. No, I don't think anyone could actually find that chibi crap adorable.
But yeah, Rena insists on searching the disease-ridden junk pile while Keiichi wisely decides to wait on the sidelines for her. While waiting, he meets a freelance photographer, Jiro Tomitake. Ah, the power of the internet and its pointless memes. While speaking with him, Keiichi jokingly suggests that maybe Rena is searching through the dump for a dead body, to which Tomitake replies,
嫌な事件だったね。
and just when he's about to elaborate on it,
驚かせてすまなかったね、ケイイチ君。
No, it's cool, dude. Just leave the kid with the suggestion that his friend might be a homicidal maniac. No, don't try to clear things up with him or anything like that. You jackass.
Anyway, Keiichi and Rena leave the junkyard with only a rice cooker to show for their troubles. Apparently what she really wanted was a Kenta statue, as she calls it. Yeah, fun fact, Kenta is a nickname for Kentucky Fried Chicken in Japan. I'm guessing another reason they picked 1983 specifically for the series was because it was the year that the fast food chain was experiencing booming success in Japan, with 390 outlets across the country, with many of them featuring creepy as all hell statues of Colonel Sanders standing in front of them.
Yeah, screw all this talk about murders and all that. There's some real horror right here.
It's the Colonel!
But yeah, getting back to what Tomitake said, Keiichi was able to learn from Ren that the landfill was the site of a cancelled dam construction project. And when he tries to find out if any certain mishaps occurred during the construction, Ren said she didn't know with a really creepy smile.
Oh, believe me, we haven't even started with the scary faces. Hell, we're only on page 42.
And truth be told, I'm more distracted by the panel on the next page, where it looks like the two of them are floating for no reason.
Hey Nozaki, you have any ideas on how to fix this?
Fine, I'll fix it.
Yeah, that kind of works.
The next day, Mion invites Keiichi to join an after-school club she formed with the rest of the girls. Basically, it was a simple little game club, mostly card games, where the loser has to face some penalty games.
闇の扉が開かれた。
No, nothing that severe yet. Afterwards, Keiichi once again tried to get more information about the construction project. As it turns out, it was a government-sanctioned project that would have led to the destruction of the village. The residents of Hinamizawa were naturally against it and thus formed mass protests that led to the cancellation of the project. This led Keiichi to asking if those protests led to any certain incidents. It certainly wouldn't be the first time that certain protests led to tragedies. Mion's response was pretty much the same as Rena, along with giving up.
What's that face? I get that the artist is trying to go for more shadowy and foreboding, but why did he have to make Mion's face look just so damn smug?
You get enough smug in the atmosphere, and you know what that leads to? Global laming.
After parting ways with Mion, Keiichi met up with Rena at the garbage dump to continue searching for the creepy as all hell Kenta statue.
Again, who would actually want this thing? It certainly doesn't make me want to eat fried chicken, that's for sure.
Anyway, after Rena left to get refreshments, Keiichi scavenged through some old magazines from the garbage pile in the hopes of finding out whether or not murders had really occurred during the construction project. And as it just so happens, he manages to find a magazine that gave graphic details about the incident, complete with some rather gruesome pictures. Seriously, what kind of magazine would include blood splatter text with a picture of an actual decapitated corpse? Wouldn't they be a little worried that they might get complaints from some of their more squeamish readers?
Rumors. Panic in the streets. We're lucky.
Anyway, through the magazine, he learned that the victim was the director of the project, and he had been chopped up into 6 parts with a hatchet-like weapon. On top of that, the culprit had never been detained, and just as he finishes reading the article, Rena returns with a large, sharp... No, we're not even halfway through the book. It wouldn't end that suddenly. Ren had found the giant hatchet, hoping to use it as a means of cutting through some of the thicker garbage blocking the way to the Kenta statue. They called a day, with Keiichi secretly taking home the magazine with the article about the murder. He now knew that Ren and Mion were trying to hide the murder from him for some reason. The next day in school, Keiichi and the club played some more games, though this time Keiichi was prepared to win big. The punishment games this time were that the losers had to do whatever the winner demanded. And Keiichi showed pretty much why his anime voice actor would eventually go on to voice Tomoki Sakurai. However, thanks to a little encouragement from Rika, the girls managed to make a comeback by activating Rena's adorable overdrive mode. And as punishment for losing to them, the girls forced Keiichi to endure every punishment he had inflicted upon them.
Yeah, I think getting your soul banished to the Shadow Realm is a lot better than this. Then again, manga Keiichi pulls off this look a lot better than live action Keiichi. That's Kamen Rider Mach, by the way. Let that sink in for a bit.
Honestly though, these and some other slice of life moments do serve a narrative purpose, at least a lot more than a pointless trip to the hot springs like in certain other properties. Yeah, 2 movie per year deal was totally worth stuff like this. Anyway, that night, the club decides to go out and enjoy Hinamizawa's local fair, the Cotton Drifting Festival. While enjoying the festivities, the group met up with Tomitake and was able to witness the titular ritual of the festival. The young priestess Rika would tear into a futon and pull out all of its cotton. From there, the villagers would each send a small puffball drift into the river. Apparently this was meant to pay tribute to the guardian deity of the village, Oyashiro-sama. Why exactly would deity ask his subjects to essentially pollute his own river? Well, the answers to those questions and more will be for later.
Believe me, there's a good reason it's just cotton, but we'll have to save that for a future volume.
Anyway, after getting separated from the girls during the ritual, Keiichi ran into Tomitake and a woman he had met earlier, Mio Takano. Through her, he managed to learn about some of the other deaths relating to the construction project. Exactly 1 year after the director's death, a married couple who had actively supported the project fell from a cliff into the river. A year after that, a priest from the local shrine who had remained neutral towards the project died of a mysterious disease, and his wife drowned herself after his passing. And yet another year after that, a housewife related to the married couple from 2 years prior had been beaten to death. So obviously all of the victims were people who refused to actively boycott a construction project that would destroy the village, and on top of that, all of the incidents occurred on the day of the cotton drifting festival. This made some believe it was all a curse brought upon by Oyashiro-sama's wrath. And since the last death was only 1 year prior to our current story, that would mean if Oyashiro-sama felt like it, another killing could happen. And after telling him all of this shocking information, Tomitake yet again tried to ease Keiichi's mind by saying it was all just pure conjecture.
Yeah, dude. Again, if you didn't want to scare the kid, maybe you shouldn't have let your lady friend explain in excruciating detail a series of possible murders.
Anyway, after Takano departs, the girls regroup with Keiichi and Tomitake. Earlier during the festival, Mion challenged her club members and Tomitake to try and win as many prizes from a shooting gallery as possible. Since everyone except Tomitake won something, he was in last place and thus had to suffer a penalty game, his being that everyone got to write on his tank top with a magic marker. Now, while this might seem like an inconsequential event, I bring it up for two reasons. One, it's actually a really heartwarming scene. Yeah, they're writing on the guy's shirt, but it's an ugly ass tank top, so anything would help. Plus, they're all nice comments showing that even though he's just a visitor to the village, he's more than welcome to stop by. And two, it actually does serve an important narrative purpose in a later story arc that unfortunately the anime neglected, but more on that when we get to it. For now though, the festival closes and all of our characters part ways. So yeah, for now this book has just been a bunch of sweet slice of life moments. Nothing really unusual has occurred, it's just been a pleasant little manga with a bunch of cute girls and oh whoa, there's a dead bug over there. An evening cicada or Higurashi to be precise. I wonder if this is a sign for things to come.
Well, come back next time and we'll see if the cries of the cicadas truly are validated.